Okay, guys, so we're here in the press room of E3. It's been a fun first day. We didn't do a ton today, but some of the stuff we did was really awesome. We got to visit the Bethesda booth.
Yes.
And we got to check out the Evil Within, which is really freaky.
Yeah.
And also Battlecry, which is this crazy new multiplayer game that they're coming out with, it's almost like Gears of War with swords and bows and arrows and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, so the Evil Within, I was so terrible at that I think I broke my machine.
Yeah, you did.
But
you broke it.
Battlecry I was awesome with.
Battlecry was awesome.
Yeah,
and I'm just really excited about what I think I loved about the Evil Within is it's from the creator of the Resident Evil series.
Yes.
And it is kind of a pure survival horror movie.
Yeah.
I said movie. I always say movie.
Yes,
it's
you
a
do.
pure survival horror game, and I thought it was really crazy. I spent a lot of my time like running away from the bad guys because they were really super creepy. It's a period piece, and it seems like a lot of it's kind of going on in the main character's head. But I thought what was really cool is the fact that there's still like a lot of like great weapons.
Yeah.
And it's just got it's so freaky.
There's like pools of blood, and when I say pools, I mean like entire rooms full of blood.
There's actually a scene where like you're walking down a corridor and it's like The Shining, and all of a sudden like the doors open up and blood just shoots everywhere. You didn't even see this because you killed your machine, but you actually walk into this room that looks like an autopsy room, like a coroner's room, and there's a body on the ground, right? And then it explodes and like a weird spider woman comes out of it. Yeah, and I ran like hell.
Yeah, if I had gotten to that I also would have broken it at that point.
Yeah, but the Evil Within is super sweet, and I can't wait till that comes out. And also, let's talk about Battlecry real quick.
Battlecry was super fun. It's a game where a bunch of you get together and you like battle each other, and you get to be on like one team or the other, and you have a bunch of different classes that you can be, and you can be an archer, you can be a duelist, or you can be an enforcer. Enforcer was my favorite because you got to slice people in half. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
You're scary.
Whatever. It was also the one I did the best with. I kept on dying a lot with the other ones.
Actually, being the tech archer, I thought that was really cool. You get like explosive arrows, and you get like these shock arrows. If like an enforcer's coming at you, is going to totally own you. You can totally shoot a shock arrow and push them back, which I thought was really cool.
I kept taking too long to aim, and by the time I shot people, they'd already be corpses.
But I thought it was amazing because it felt almost like I know this is an old reference. It almost felt like the Unreal Tournament with swords and with arrows. I mean, it's meant to be a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like what they did with God of War Ascension, where they tried to have like a hack and slash multiplayer game like that. I didn't feel like it was right with a top-down sort of view. But with this game, they've somehow really managed to make a third-person shooter multiplayer feel, but with combat.
Yeah, with mainly close combat, but like you said, with the archer, it is a bit of a distance thing. So yeah, it was really awesome that they were able to integrate the two, and they did it really well. The particular level that we were playing, I kept falling off of cliffs.
Yes.
Because I suck like that.
Yeah, you do, yeah. But you can also grapple, too, which I thought was really neat, too. There's all these different ports that you can, zoom up to go to other rooms, which is good. Like, if you're the archer, a big guy's going to come and, like, stab you to death. Yeah. And so if you're an archer, you want to make sure to get away. And then, like, the duelist, everyone has, like, a special power. Like, the duelist can, like, actually become invisible.
Yeah.
But, some of the characters have powers that, work against them. Like, for instance, the archer has hunter sight, and so they can actually see through walls and can see like the duelists if they're invisible. It was a really fun game, and I believe it's up to 32 players online when the game actually comes out.
And one of the great things is that it's the kind of game that you can play whether you're like a hardcore gamer or if you're a crappy gamer that I game a lot, but I suck.
It's okay. It's okay.
But it's the kind of game that even I can do well at if I'm not falling off a cliff.
Which she usually is.
Yeah.
She's usually falling off the cliff. Either way, though, one other thing that we wanted to talk about was, we got the Evil Within.
Yes.
We also got to Battlecry.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm really excited about this game. I got to play a little of it here.
What are you about to play, Dave?
Sunset Overdrive! I'm sad it's an Xbox One exclusive. I'm not a big Xbox fan. I'm more of a PS4 guy. But this is from Insomniac that made Ratchet & Clank. Now, this shooter is all about fun.
Here's the situation. A contaminated energy drink has turned everyone into mutants.
an energy drink that looks just like this.
Overcharge!
Exactly. And basically the whole point of this game is just run and gun. You know, there's an auto aim to it, so it's not one of these things where you creep around a corner and shoot. It's one of these games where you run around, jump, like you can volley yourself off like a bunch of balloons and stuff, and you're supposed to like grind on rails, sort of like when Ratchet and Clank would grind off rails.
It's like the perfect kind of game for you, because as we all know, Dave is no good at stealth.
It's true. Actually, I can't say I dare you. It's so true. It's so true. And it's really, really neat, and I really enjoyed playing it. Now, the mode that we played was a 4-player mode where we're basically protecting these different quadrants from these mutants. And I found for me, I was actually having trouble sort of transversing. After a while, I just stayed on the ground shooting bad guys, which you're not supposed to do because
that generally gets you killed.
Yeah, but I think they made it a little easier for the demo just so people wouldn't be angry at it. But I feel like when I start playing this game at home, I think it's going to be a blast. I feel like I'm going to get the transversal a lot better, and it's just going to be like Infamous, or one of those games where you're always kind of like grinding on rails and shooting and jumping and crazy stuff.
Well, the game is clearly made for fun. It has a lot of silliness to it. I mean, there's that weapon, the high fidelity, where it shoots records.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when a game has something like that, you know, it's like the dubstep gun in Saints Row. You know, it's purely made for entertainment and to just like have as much fun as you can playing.
You know, one was called TNT Teddy. Yeah, it was a teddy bear with dynamite.
And the characters also, like they're fun costumes.
Yes.
And so yeah, I mean, it's just a fun game, and clearly everyone was having a fun time with it.
Totally. And last but not least, we also got to go to the Deep Silver booth.
Yeah.
And we got to see 2 of the game demos. One for the awesome Homefront: The Revolution.
Yes.
And one also for Dead Island 2.
Yeah, now one of the great things with Homefront: The Revolution is the last Homefront game was actually really good, but it was so short.
Yes.
So, you know, what we found out about this game is that it is going to be a much more immersive game and a much longer game. There are going to be many more hours of gameplay out of it, but it's still, you know, it still takes off of the old one. You know, it's by a different company.
Yeah, well, this time it's Crytek. I mean, the guys who made Crysis.
Yeah.
And that's why the game looks so much more polished. It looks slick.
Yeah.
The fact is, you can modify your gun like while you're playing the game in all kinds of cool Crytek-like ways. It's in the Cry engine, so it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And this game really looks like it's building upon the great premise of the first game, but instead of like this Colorado, very Red Dawn-ish type thing, now you're in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and it's 4 years after the occupation, but this resistance is starting to form.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool concept. And like I said, you know, you take that story, that very short story from the first one, and you imagine 4 years later in Philadelphia.
But also it's free roam too, so you get to run around and you take missions from other people.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a nice sort of Fallout quality to it, and I think that's going to be sick. So I'm really excited about that, and we'll talk a little bit more of this on our radio show on Indy 100 and The Point. But we just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick little thing, and I think we'll talk about these games more in depth this show. Coming up on Thursday and Friday on Indy 100 and The Point.
Yeah, Dead Island 2 also looks super fun, and Dead Island 2 looks like it's going to have a bit more humor to it than the first one, which I'm excited about.
But you know, I'm definitely going to get my bicep implant before I play that game. Yeah, Dead Island 2 looks really cool.
Yeah.
They showed off some of the gameplay in this, though they showed us an early rendering of it. But it definitely seems like it's going to be more of a fun game. But also, what's really exciting is we got to interview the game director of Dead Island and one of the game designers for Homefront: The Revolution. So we're going to have those up on our YouTube channel, and also we're going to be playing them on our radio show. So if you want to listen to those interviews and more in-depth stuff for E3 and all our experiences, listen to our radio show on Indy 100 and The Point.
And if you want to get in touch with us, send us an email to geekworldradio@yahoo.com, and be sure to check out our website, geekworldradio.com.
Enough talk, more E3!
Yeah!